Firstly, thank you to Prattsville Art Center. I'm staying here for a week. I just got here. It's awesome. And thank you to Miriam for helping me set this up. I feel like you did a lot of the work as well. So, yeah, this place is really cool, and you should donate to them if you have money to do that with. I don't know, but you don't have to. But you should. Okay, I'm gonna read some poems. A lot of the poetry I write is about caring for my mother who has Alzheimer's, and I totally forgot to bring the chapbook I recently put out with Belladonna that's like a compilation of poets on caring for their parents, but if you're interested in that kind of thing, come up to me after. I don't have them with me, but I can like mail them to you for $5. They just cost $5. Okay, so I'm gonna read some poems. I'm kind of just trying to figure out what it means to write about that, and I haven't really figured it out, so I'm gonna try singing a tiny bit in this one, which is terrifying to me. Bear with me. It won't be as good as Sparrow. I listened to Gene Clark's 1974 flop, Strength of Strings, 6 times in a row on the FDR. I just liked his refrain. Wanted to see how far I could push it while my mom bled out at the hospital. Which was not strictly speaking true, but we thought it was for several hours. It's amazing what the mind can do with incomplete information. A pile of bloody clothes on the carpet, crimson pouring from her belly, verbs like saturate and adverbs like profusely, the audible fear of a southern woman, a gurney strewn with soiled gauze, a bruise is like a body of water. You could maybe call it truancy, or Casey helped me pass that time. I thought Agnes's creatures didn't quite stick the landing as good as Bergman murdered the myth of the storyteller when he wrote, "You're trying to fill your void with Karen's extinction." To be clear, she is okay, which is not a term doctors give you when you need it. Brings me words that are not the strength of strings. My lover gave me meandering networks of underground rivers and serpentine capillaries and a new cookbook. And I gave her palimpsestic cave paintings in the south of France, co-authored collages, humans with flutes, creating more life together 4,000 years apart, a brushstroke, a palm print, a broken finger. I don't have time like that. I can't commit to relational alignment and labeling the kitchen cabinets in the same week. Brings me words that are not the strength of strings. 30,000 years later, an art critic, a scientist, a documentarian dream of holding hands with the dead. I hope my Paleolithic ancestors forgive me for my futile efforts trying to convince a grown woman that she got lost and fell down the stairs. The pre-invented family structure always disintegrates and reconstitutes against one's will. Eventually, it comes for us all. Brings me words that are not the strength of strings. Okay. This one's called Mere Void. It's about this like photograph I have of my great grandmother who died really young and immigrated to New York, and I just wonder a lot about her. So, ear dense with wax, how grease takes over your body. No, not body. No bodies in this poem. It's too overdone. From the Saraman tunnel, I hear the grime of history. Patina on my cheek, it touched me there. I scraped the side of my nostril where I once had sweat. Nervous then. That was your nose, if smaller now, several generations removed. Mirrors collect her shadows in palimpsestic time. Muck encrusted in the muted glow. Gold, false gold, peasant's gold in her dark bosom. Now burned into silver gelatin and encased in glass. Her pride not registered in discernible expression. I see her, would steal her mask, would adorn her likeness, her everywhere. It was her face, my face, in the skyscraper's disaffected skin. Reflective glass returned my oily gaze. Okay, I don't have a title for these ones. I don't know. Just keep pulling things out about this. I used to suck my thumb and call my lover mommy. How depraved we must become in an unjust world. Perverse in the pejorative sense, I just don't fuck like I used to. I sensed that my ex-girlfriend was disappointed in my political commitments. I promised her I did want to scream, genocide, 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 but I was at the pharmacy picking up gauze. I might have to settle for less. A secret AirTag and a help I've fallen button, closed-loop surveillance as a new kind of home video. Are the following morally corrupt? To steal a child's scribbled exurg in a 1959 copy of Alice in Wonderland, rifle through a desk for an old lipstick case, wince at a forgotten proclivity for escargot, and wish Mom's voice still sounded like it did in 1997. I was blissed out on Rachel's new couch reading the dictionary before I realized I had accidentally swapped mood stabilizers for benzos and spent 36 hours barred out in the woods. I stopped in New Jersey on the way home and told my dad that you could have a whole house with no steps. That did happen really recently at Rachel Levitsky's house. I was feeding her fish for a weekend and was like, this is the best weekend of my life, and it was because I was taking a ton of benzos accidentally. Okay, I thought it'd be nice to like read something I wrote at this residency, but I just got here. So I don't have anything complete, but I just like thought I'd just read a bunch of the notes I was taking today. I had this awesome experience at this diner. I think it's called TP's Diner in Stamford. Thank you, Miriam, for recommending that town. And I was just like sitting there eating my pancakes, and these two older women were next to me, and I thought they were talking about the flood in Prattsville, but they were talking about a different flood. So I started talking to them, and we talked for like an hour and a half, and they told me a lot about their experiences in this area. So I kind of started by writing about like the random shit I was thinking about when I first got to the diner, and then it kind of just totally changed its course. So I don't know. Much further west now, wanting better for myself than online etymologies. Want Paleolithic hand axe, Echulian technologies. Who stood up and walked out? Homo erectus. 700,000 years at the threshold of the armor wing. Driving under a god cloud, I want to be enfolded in that mass of flesh. A mass of flesh. I have mostly written you out of the poem. Want soaked sheets. To walk a few more blocks. Aspirational dungeons. I burden on you. Feast on you. Feast among, within, without. I, thoughtfully removed, of a reasonable size, gut covered in fluorescent glow, as if it mattered. So much depends on fluid, or lack thereof, it wrenches us apart. Peek under the letters of life and law. Floods of a biblical nature happen all the time. Here, in 2011, down the road, another town destroyed in 1997. Kathy at the diner in Stamford foots the bill for a state-mandated septic tank to protect the distant, gentle city from rust-colored drinking water. Water extracted from her fossil-filled creek and sold to my landlord at a reasonable cost. Language preserved from contamination. She sucked that silty water in the air compressor whirlpool while diners ate an expensive meal up the stairs, while the house next door, engulfed in flames, floated a ways down the block. They always mark something like that, and then refuse to build any higher. Like that. Yeah, it's been really interesting to learn about the history of this area. She was an amazing person. She was like a school teacher and also a volunteer firefighter. And, yeah. crazy stories. Okay, and then this one I wrote a couple weeks ago in Western Mass at a swimming hole. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. It's called Conway Station. Heartbreak was nothing as compared to the slow neurodisintegration. Friends say it's all about the mother in the end. Glacial loss. Once you've swam in this lake, everything else is like pouring out a bottle of water. The more she forgets, the more real she becomes. The granular composition of a human reveals itself as it disappears. A millimeter shift in the part of her hair, southern drawl peeking out on long phone calls, acidic Chardonnay and snapping wit, bodybuilders and evangelists in high school yearbooks. She didn't know what to say when I told her. She repeats after my father, "Sorry, I'm so sorry," and that was enough. I'll never love someone like the person who made me. So when my lover walked out, I thought, what the fuck is this anyways? I just want to get laid and hang out with my friends. I ate a sweet nectarine while the sun beat down on slippery rocks. We looked like grasshoppers in the tunnel under the falls. It will always become okay. My bloody toe, I jump in. Grasshoppers, we must have looked to them. And then I just started reading this book today, and it was really inspiring and beautiful, and I found this book at a book fair, and I had never heard of this poet. Maybe other people have, I don't know, but her name is, I'm not going to pronounce her right, she was Polish, Ursula Kozioł, I think. And yeah, there was a lot of poems about rain, and it was pouring rain today, so I just was like, I don't want to read too many of my own poems. I'm going to read from this. This is just a section from one of the poems. Let's open the window and invite in the kernels of rain into the sunny pumpkin of your room. And then this is a poem called From Conversations About the Rain. This ordinary, this little raindrop in your open palm, not from this hour is, and not from this sky, not from this river, not from that light, not a cloud has behind it, but an odyssey. How many barrels, hoops, claws, how many crows' feet of time has it eluded? From how many breaths, in virtual mortal leap, has it jumped off to the mirror in the nick of time? How many worlds has it traversed from root to cloud, from chimney to stone? With what and what kinds of combinations has it had? What separations passed from mouth to mouth? How many decrees have irrevocably erased it from the surface? Into what transformations? Despite all, has it miraculously been saved from many a sea of calamity? The eternal wanderer is billions of years its junior. Sisyphus moistened his lips with it. Along with Prometheus's sweat, it rolled down the rock. It wandered with Odysseus, was Circe's swine and Molly's flower. It doesn't know Penelope. Perhaps it knows the anonymous tear of a child. Perhaps it set out into the desert to get water for him, but was killed. Altogether, it was shot hundreds of times. Once here, once there. It has difficulty remembering everything. It could have been the drop which ran over. It's not impossible that on it depended once, whether quantity changed into quality. Perhaps it was the very drop poured from one empty dish to another. Many a time it saved, didn't save anyone. Many a time it reached, didn't reach these or those lips, these or those roots. It put out, didn't put out anything. Perhaps it wasn't it. Perhaps it was merely a butterfly or a swallow then, a fish or a June bug, or as the germ of yet another wish it rose upon the bars of someone's imprisonment. This little ordinary raindrop, one way or another, deserves a marble sarcophagus, its own pyramid, or at least a separate display case in the first museum of the world. You weigh it in your hand, place its great nobodiness upon your lips like a sacred seal. Under its protection, you will retire in the hour of drought. It's just like really good. Okay, that's it. Thank you, Widows of Met.